Hello everyone, welcome back. In this video, let's look at how we can achieve the route grouping. So route grouping meaning grouping related pages together into one specific folder and routing to that specific folder. Okay, so let's start writing the code to understand this better. Okay, so in the app folder, I'm creating a login folder, and within the login folder I'm creating page.tsx. Okay, so to access, so again one more thing, in this again I'm creating register folder, and within the register folder I'm creating page.tsx. Okay, let me just add this basic code. We don't need a link. Okay, now this is register page. Okay, that means registration page, and here it will be the login page. Okay, now we have two pages. Okay, let me just say routed to login page, and let's add routed to registration page. Okay, now we have two specific paths. Let's check whether they are working. So login is working, register also working. Okay, let me just make some minor change. Let's add couple of link buttons to push this to navigate instead of directly hitting the URL in the browser. Okay, it's reference to login, and one more for registration. Let me format it. Okay, now we have two link buttons. Okay, so now let me go to the main page. So I have two link buttons. Okay, like when I click login, it is routed to login page, and when I click register, it is navigated to registration page. Okay, so in the real-time project, there will be too many files, too many components. It's not going to be just one or two files or one or two components. So when we have too many components in the application, so we need to at least group some of the related components into one folder so that we can properly organize the total number of components in the project. Okay. So for that we need to use the route grouping. So to add a route grouping, since this is login and registration, both are related to the authentication, right? So for that, let me just, on the app folder, I'm creating a authentication folder. Okay, within the authentication, I'm moving the login and the registration complete files. Okay, so I moved. So within the authentication, we have two right now. Okay, let's check whether this is working. Okay, for this, to access authentication, okay, there is a spelling mistake. Okay, let's validate. So now using authentication, it is routed. Now using authentication, it is routed. Okay, but since I just grouped it, if you have multiple groups, better not to have that group folder name in the URL, right? In this scenario, we grouped login and registration components together, but I don't want to show this authentication string in the URL. Okay, for that, what we can do is we can simply keep this authentication string folder name in this format. Okay, if you do this, okay, you no need to use this particular authentication string in the URL. Okay, let's validate with the string whether it is working or not. Okay, see, if you see now with authentication, the route is not there, not available. Okay, now since we grouped it this in this format, so we can avoid this authentication and it will still navigate to that specific login. Okay, now let's remove, and now if you see, it is properly navigated. Okay, login as well as register. Okay, the way it is working, so in the real-time project production applications, we will have too many components and we need to organize them into groups. Okay, since login and registration both are related to authentication, so I grouped these two components into authentication folder, and I added this, I changed this folder name from authentication and kept it in the emphasized, this particular format, so that when we want, if we want to navigate to this particular page, we we can completely avoid this piece in the URL. Okay, that's how the route grouping works. Okay.